What is up, everybody? Listen to me, alright? This is a very serious video. Right now, very serious topic for me. Don't mind the music playing in the background, just to make it add. So right now you're watching gameplay from Dark Souls 3, a game that I like. Now today we're going to be explaining things I love and hate about the Souls series, and why I think you should play them. So first off, as you see in the clip right now, I'm using some great weapons. That has nothing to do with the clip. But Dark Souls 3, any Dark Souls game actually, is fast paced. Dark Souls 1 and 2, they're kind of slow rolly, but we're not going to talk about that. They got great NPC dialogue, and I really suggest you should try them. That's the first thing I like, the NPC dialogue. Now let me get more in depth in this. So like Solaire of the story, he says you're ghostly incandescent. People love him. If you don't know about him, search up a video online. I'm pretty sure you'll find something good about him. Yeah, he's just a great person overall. You can get really attached to these characters. They somebody to help beat the bosses that you struggle with every single time you play the game. Now, that's the second thing I'm going to get into. Difficulty. Now, personally, I think that the Souls games are pretty easy if you know what you're doing. Keyword, if. Now, I don't like to use if, because obviously it means iffy. Get rid of it there. Anyway, if basically means can or can you do it. Now, if you've never played a Souls game before, here's the one that I'll suggest for you, and that's Dark Souls 2 or 3. Now, the reasons I suggest Souls is because Dark Souls 3 is the second fastest paced Souls game, and therefore one of the easiest. But fast paced does not mean easy. Don't get me wrong, Bloodborne showed me that by itself, which I will get to in a later part of the video. Also, if you got this far, stay in for a bit more. By a bit more, I mean the entire video, scrubs. But yeah, there is also a ton of RNG involved, which normally I'd be like, I have to grind. No, you don't. You don't have to grind anything. They give you everything you need to complete your character. At least in the Dark Souls 3, 2, and 1. We'll get into Bloodborne in a second, like I said before. But the third thing I like, by the way, this is specifically Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. We're not counting Bloodborne. That's a completely separate topic, which we'll get into in the later part of the video. Now, Dark Souls 3 has another thing good going for it. It's weapon variety. There's over 100 plus weapons that you can use, and even more counting the DLC. Each one has a specific moveset that it has, and it's different than any other type of weapon if it's not in the same class. Like straight swords have a side sweep, another side sweep, and then a dash attack. While the goddamn ring knife paired greatswords in the ultra greatsword category have a completely different moveset. Like you dash in for your opponent with dual swords and stuff like that. It's just a great weapon overall. You guys can even see the Soul Sword Twin Blades here. It doesn't match the moves of every other weapon in the game, unless there's a one Twin Blades, which is the only weapon like it, or the Dance's Enchanted Swords. Now, there is another thing I want to explain though. The weapon types are very limited. There's not a lot. I think Bloodborne has even more, which it only has like 30 plus weapons, not even. But we'll get into that at a later goddamn date. Like I said, I keep mentioning Bloodborne because I just want to talk about it so much. Now, another thing that the Souls games, well, let's talk about the things that they don't have going for them. First off, nothing, because I'm done with Dark Souls 3. Now we're moving on to Bloodborne, my boys. Alright, listen. Bloodborne is a fast and hard game. Don't take that the wrong way. The only reason why I say that is because they challenge you a lot. Father Gascoigne is probably one of the most difficult bosses in Soul series for new players. Keyword, new players. It's a very fast-paced boss that if you can't adapt to it, you're going to die no matter what you do, no matter how strong you are. This is just gameplay of me playing Bloodborne on one of my first playthroughs. Well, not really, but you get the point. I played it like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something. Yeah, Bloodborne has nowhere near as much glitches as the Souls games, and I do consider Bloodborne a Souls game. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna call Bloodborne its own thing. I'm just putting it in a Dark Souls video. Now, difficulty is done 100% right in Bloodborne. The enemies move way faster than you do, and if you can't adapt, you die, like I just said with Father Gascoigne. Now, I'm going to mention something that people don't usually mention, and that's the Forbidden Woods, which I'm about to walk up to in a second here. The Forbidden Woods is a place where there's a ton of snakes and ton of enemies variety, right? Bloodborne has probably the biggest enemy variety out of every single Souls game I've ever played, which is all of them. So, basically, I'm also going to give a tip and trick real quick for Bloodborne. Yeah, for your starting weapon, make sure you pick the Saw Spear. There's nothing that'll end unless you're a strength build, there's no reason for you to pick anything else. For the Cane, I'm sorry, you're just not that good. Unless they game, then you're one of the best weapons in the game. But we're not going to talk about that. So is the Hunter Axe and the Saw Cleaver. So the starting 3 are actually one of the best weapons in the entire game. So no matter which one you pick, it's going to be good. I just, in my personal opinion, think that the Saw Spear is the greatest. Not because R1 spam, I swear. But, yeah. It also has very long range. And let me get into another topic, talking about weapons. Trick weapons. Now, there's already like 20 attacks per weapon. That's why Dark Souls 3 has so much variety. But nowhere near as much as Bloodborne's variety. When you press L1 on a weapon, it transforms from this normal state into another state. So let's take the Saw Cleaver for example. The thing I'm willing in this video here, and I don't think I transformed it for a while, so you probably won't see it in this video. But what happened was, well, let me explain it in the best terms, you know? I'm lazy. So, yeah. Which has nothing to do with anything. I just wanted to point out that I'm lazy. But this is future me. Because, you know, audio fucked up. So that's great. But I do want to explain another thing that I forgot to mention in this video. That's why I'm going over the things that I said. Because audio corrupted and stuff like that. Basically, the Saw Cleaver, when it transforms, it gets a longer state of weapon, which usually be like, okay, it has longer range, so what? It also gets a completely different moveset from everything else. That's why I said there's different variety, depending on each weapon you pick in Bloodborne. Now, another trick I want to give you is, if you're using a Saw Cleaver or a Saw Spear, any weapon that has a fast R1, do R1, L1, L1, R1. Now, those are called transforming attacks. Transforming attacks can hit enemies for massive damage in just a few hits. So that's why I'm putting it as a tips and tricks. Now, another thing that a boy will want to pull out is that these games are hard for new players, and I can't stress that enough. Like, people that expect the game to be easy, you're just stupid. And that's simple. Like, if you can't take the heat, brown to beat. This has been my video, guys. Thank you, all genders and ages. I'll see you guys in the next video. This is kind of short. I just wanted to make this real quick, and I will do a tips and tricks video on all the Souls games. Peace.